I play for a living. That's what I do. I play to make plays. And some people are a little jealous as they go to their office to deal with reality, you know, spreadsheets and budgets and numbers, that I get to play, to live in a world of make-believe, that I get to be engaged in a high-stakes game of imagination. Now, I say it's high stakes because in this society, being imaginative can be difficult, because we like our imagination commodified and sanitized and predictable. But I also say it's high stakes because ask any child who has given themselves over to a moment of imagination, and they will tell you that living with wild abandon can be a little dangerous, and coming back to reality always sucks. So, but I would never give up this way of playing, and I would never give up playing here in Greensboro, because here's where I found an artistic home. I found an audience that is sometimes perplexed by me and confused by me, but is almost always willing to journey with me as we explore the infinite possibilities of theater. Now, I am thrilled to be able to do that here because I believe I can make an impact here. You see, I think theater matters. A lot of people don't, but I do. I think theater matters because what it is that theater people do is we allow you to imagine what it's like to be another person. And if we can imagine what it's like to be another person, we can realize the follies and the silliness of our prejudices and fears. And if we can imagine what it's like to be another person, we can realize that we're all in this together. And if we can imagine what it's like to be another person, we can imagine that the insurmountable problems that other people should solve are the problems that we can solve. What I love about the way I play is that I never play alone. Theater is the most collaborative of all the arts. We bring together all the art forms, and we bring together really smart people, and we put them in a room, and we allow them to work. I'm really not very good on my own. I have to have others around me. And I believe this very strongly. If we bring smart people into a room, and we give them freedom, and we give them courage, and we give them the opportunity to dream and the opportunity to imagine, if we give them all of that, they will be exponentially better than they would be individually. We will together be able to go places we've never been before. We'll be discoverers, finding newfound land that we never would have found if we had set out on the journey alone. I think theater is a lot like the race to discover the South Pole. I do. It's warmer and there's better food, but it's a lot like that. You know, in the early 20th century, two men set out to discover the South Pole. One was an Englishman. His name was Scott. He decided that he was going to go in a very traditional British way. He was going to surround himself with gentlemen. He took a photographer to record every step of the way. He didn't take pony dogs because that would be uncivilized. He took ponies because ponies are so good in snow. He'd never been on skis before. He treated it like it was some great big English tea party in a really cold room. And then there was this guy from Norway named Amundsen. And he did it the absolute opposite way. He broke all the rules. First of all, he lied about where he was going. He got a lot of really great explorers together. They actually had been in snow before. They took dogs, and they got there first. They put a flag, the Norwegian flag, at the South Pole, and were sailing safely home to warmth and good cooking, while Scott and his party, still clinging to this British idea of how to reach the South Pole, froze to death. So, I have been both Scott and I have been Amundsen. And I know what it's like to watch my dreams freeze over and die in this sort of cold Antarctic of bad theater productions. And I know what it's like to go somewhere that no one's ever been before. And so I've spent some time trying to figure out, well, why is it that sometimes I'm Scott and why is it sometimes I'm Amundsen? And how am I going to be more like Amundsen every time? At the beginning of one of these recessions that we've survived through recently, I decided that I was going to open Triad Stage's season with a play that I don't particularly like. It's a play that kind of fills me with despair when I think about it, because I've seen so many productions of it. Just the very mention of its name makes me groan. I've seen it in high schools, in colleges, in retirement centers, on Broadway, everywhere I've seen this play. It's about a domineering mother, a crippled daughter, a desperate brother, a callous gentleman caller, and a little glass unicorn. And I've always thought that it's kind of an early attempt by a great playwright. It's kind of self-serving and overly emotional and just not particularly good. So I was going to do it because I didn't really have another choice. It's 4 characters and it was going to be cheap, right? You know, if I want to play, I know that I also have to have a little bit of business sense, right? I have to know a little bit about how numbers work, and I have to surround myself with people who can do that. So I said, I can endure this journey to St. Louis and a trip down Tennessee Williams memory lane. I'm going to give my speech that I give before the shows. Anyway, I thought that was my cell phone. That would be mortifying. I thought I could endure it. I could do it. But as so often when I take a journey, particularly a journey that I don't want to take, I surrounded myself with the bravest and most daring explorers I could find. And so we started off, and it was an amazing journey. Anya, the set designer, started off with a simple yet radical question. Is the walls and the furniture important? Well, no. Quite frankly, no. Well, there went 50 years of theatrical history right out the window. No, it's not important. And then David, the sound designer, said, you know, there's this guy Tom in the play, and I can't even understand why he's there, and sometimes I forget he's there. And I said, well, it's a play about the mother. And someone said, is it a play about the mother? And then I thought, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's about an artist learning to be an artist. And so suddenly, all these questions were happening, and all these preconceived notions were being thrown away, and suddenly we were sailing to Antarctica. And what we discovered changed us forever. What we discovered, it was instead of a St. Louis apartment, instead of overstuffed furniture and lace doilies and Depression-era clothing, we discovered a world of glass. We discovered a glass menagerie that was not small and hidden from the audience, but an imaginary world that surrounded us all. We discovered a story about an artist who uses a video camera as his typewriter to make a journey to take his memories and his pain and turn them into art. It is something we discovered we never would have discovered on our own. We only discovered it because we journeyed together, because we risked radical collaboration, because we had the courage to throw away our preconceived notions. We had the courage to dream our dreams. Now, I have made a lot of journeys like this, and every time I make one, I am so thankful to make my art here and to make my art with great people. Like, just recently, we discovered that what we thought was a realistic Mississippi Delta farmhouse might just possibly be an ark for a new apocalypse. And we also discovered that the first great realistic drama might actually not be as real as we thought it was. As we watch a woman who desperately wants to change the world slowly being encaged by fences. Now, so many people want to change the world. I think I used to want to change the world. Now I'm kind of happy if I just wake up and get through the day. But I'm motivated in that getting up and making it through the day with a dream that started about 15 years ago when my partner Rich and I came to Greensboro. It was a dream that Greensboro hadn't dreamed yet.
but we were so fortunate to find such great collaborative partners in the community. And now, all these years later, we're still dreaming. We're still dreaming about the future of Triad Stage. We're still dreaming about the future of Triad Stage in this community. We're still dreaming about the partnerships that we've built within this community. We're still dreaming about how the collaboration that happens in the rehearsal hall can be the collaboration that happens in the boardroom, and the collaboration that happens in the office, and the collaboration that happens with UNCG and the library and all of our partners. And so I think why are we not always dreaming like this? I know it's happening in so many places, in communities all across this country. It's happening in so many places in communities here in Greensboro. We're so busy collaborating in our own particular groups that sometimes I don't even have time to notice that things are happening around me. But when I look around, I'm so excited by what's happening. And I wonder, why is it not happening all the time? Why is it that we are afraid of radical collaboration? Why is it we are afraid of throwing away the old ideas? Why not just, borrow from what Charlotte does, or what Raleigh does, or what Atlanta does, or what Durham does? Why not just look to New York for our creativity? Why not do that? Why not let the same old power structure to make the decisions for the entire community? I think there's a reason why that doesn't happen. And I look at this picture and I think this is the reason. We got fenced in. We got fenced in. But if Greensboro is the gate city, wouldn't it be really great if we were the open gate city? Because if we're open, if the gates are open and we interact from group to group, from person to person, from organization to organization, we're able to dream things we've never dreamed before, imagine things we've never imagined before, and go places we've never been. And I guarantee you, we will discover the next South Pole, and we'll make it home in time for a really great dinner. Thank you.